Hey, everybody. Welcome to Sentinel Sports Extra Cavs post-game report. Well, I think I would be understating it if I said that game that just happened in Boston against the Celtics was terrible from the Cavaliers' perspective. That would definitely be an understatement. Yes, it's a regular season game. Yes, it's the fifth game of the season. But can we be honest? Can we be honest? Let's be honest, okay? I'm not going to mince words. I'm not a word mincer, okay? The Cleveland Cavaliers absolutely 100% stunk up TBD Bank Garden tonight. They stunk it up from top to bottom, from Kenny Atkinson to Donovan Mitchell, who was an absolute no-show tonight. Hamstring or not, sit him if he's not healthy and he's not able to play. Everybody stunk tonight. Everybody stunk. They got murdered on the boards. Absolutely destroyed on the boards. I mean, it was disgusting that Cavaliers team with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley were out-rebounded 52-42 by a smaller Celtics team. Absolutely pathetic. Disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. The Cavaliers had 11 offensive rebounds in the game. They were out-rebounded on the offensive boards 18-11 by the Celtics. They were god-awful tonight. They shot like garbage. They shot like absolute garbage tonight. Sickening garbage. Like, people, you can't even blame any Boston Garden officiating crap like you normally can. The officials called a good game tonight. The Cavaliers just decided they weren't showing up. They weren't showing up. Let's be honest. This team regularly doesn't show up for games. All right? They didn't show up in the playoffs against Indiana. It was absolutely disgusting tonight. A game they should have easily won tonight. Easily won tonight. At the end, for a minute, I'll talk about high school playoffs. But right now, we're going to focus on the Cavs because they were a bitter disappointment tonight. Bitter disappointment. They shot 40%. Donovan Mitchell, the superstar, 41%. 5 of 9 from three-point range. Obviously, he's hurt. Why did he even play? Why did he even play? Bad decision by the team. Bad decision by the team. Look, if I'm going to sit here on other shows and I'm going to say that the Browns were at fault for playing Baker Mayfield when he was hurt, the Cavs should not have played Donovan Mitchell tonight if he's hurt. I don't give a shit if it's Boston or not. Sit him. You lost anyway. Now he might be worse and miss more games because you decided to play him. Horrible decision-making today. Horrible decision-making. Like I said, from Kenny Atkinson all the way down. Terrible, terrible shot selection tonight. Terrible shot selection tonight. Terrible. They had one period at the end of with like 7 minutes left in the fourth, where they look like they might actually have cared tonight. Besides that, they look terrible. They look like a JV high school team that wasn't sure that they really wanted to play tonight. It was a horrible effort, folks. There's no way to put this. There's no other way to put this. Your Cleveland Cavaliers look like a complete disaster tonight. Total garbage tonight. Absolute, complete, and total garbage tonight. It wasn't even close. This game was never close. Right from the beginning, you could tell. You could tell the Cavaliers did not have a chance in this game. They were not winning this game. This was a terrible effort by your Cavaliers, who are supposedly one of the top two teams in the East. I'm going to sit here and criticize them. Maybe sometimes we're too easy on this team. Maybe they deserve some more criticism. Could you imagine if the Knicks went to Boston and put this kind of effort on? The New York media would be all over them. I don't want to hear any excuses. It was a terrible performance tonight. Horrible. And look, I've been covering this team for 4 years now. I've seen this kind of crap happen. I guess it doesn't matter who the coach is. Sometimes they decide they're not showing up. Sometimes they just say, we're not showing up tonight. We're going to be terrible. And that's what they were tonight. They were terrible in every aspect of the game. 32% from three-point range. Celtics, 37. Out-rebounded by the Celtics. We mentioned that. Cavs, 75% from the free throw line. Celtics, 84%, 83% from the free throw line. Turnovers by the Cavs, 14. Celtics, 8. That's how you lose a game to a team that's not as good as you. You play terrible in every aspect of the game. They were terrible tonight. They were disgusting tonight. They were disgusting tonight. Horrible. I mean, this is not what I expected tonight. I said to my son before the game they could lose tonight, but at least put up a fight. They looked like they were disinterested right from the beginning. I can't imagine what Kenny Atkinson said at halftime. He had to go off on them. That obviously didn't work. Maybe this team isn't a team that can be coached into being tough and winning. I don't know. Maybe they can't be. Because that, what I saw tonight, was horrible. Terrible basketball by the Cavs tonight. Celtics, they look like they cared. And look, they're not as good as the Cavs, talent-wise. And don't give me the Darius Garland crap. They still should have won this game. They still should have won this game without Max Strus and Darius Garland. They still have more talent. But obviously, the Boston Celtics wanted to win this game more than the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's it. That's it. There's no two ways about this garbage. tonight. The Cleveland Cavaliers crapped the proverbial bed on national TV in front of a huge audience. Well, maybe not a huge audience, but an audience, a national audience. And they look like they could care less. They look like they wanted to be somewhere else. Where was Jared Allen tonight? Like, I'm a huge Jared Allen fan, and I'm a huge Jared Allen defender. But they were -4 with Jared Allen on the floor tonight. He had 16 points, six rebounds. Okay. And what has he done? He hasn't had a double-double yet this year. What has he done? What was he, home sorting his Pokemon cards, or was he thinking about doing that? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, Mobley led the team in scoring, and he did have a double-double. But, he had 3 turnovers. Mitchell had 3 turnovers. Tyson, he's a young guy. He had 3 turnovers. But Mitchell and Mobley, come on. Mobley looked horrible tonight. Or I meant Mitchell. He looked god-awful tonight. I know he scored 15. Big deal, 15. He was averaging 33 coming into the game. This was a very, 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 very disappointing effort. Very disappointing effort. This is like the night the Guardians lost to the Colorado Rockies. That's how disappointing this is. This is when the Cavs lose a game like this, it's different than when the Browns lose because the Browns stink. The Browns are a god-awful organization. The Cavs are a good organization. They went in and played a shorthanded team tonight and got their head beat in. They got their head beat in by a shorthanded Boston Celtics team. Let me tell you this. This is the worst loss by this team, aside from playoff losses. This is the worst regular season loss by this team since 2 years ago when Bickerstaff was still the coach, and they lost to the Warriors when Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green were all out. This loss is as bad as that loss. They looked disinterested that night. And look, we've got the same people on this team. Pretty much the same guys. The same usual suspects who don't show up sometimes. So how are we going to expect them to show up in the playoffs? Has this team really taken the next step? Will they really take the next step? I don't know. I just don't know. It's a horrible effort tonight. Just a disgusting effort. There's no other way to put it. It was a disgusting effort tonight. They played absolutely terrible. They didn't play like one of the top 2 teams in the East. They played maybe like the 12th team in the East, maybe. That's how they played tonight. So, I'll tell you what. I felt like I just wasted 2.5 hours watching that. It was really bad. But, they'll be back in action Friday at home against Toronto, the Raptors, who are also not a good team. But if the Cavs play like this tonight, they'll be 3-3 by the time Friday's over. So, that's it's terrible. They were terrible. So, for the YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Facebook, we're going to sign off now. We'll stay on TikTok for a few more minutes, and we'll talk some high school football. I'm not going to give predictions on individual games right now, but we'll talk a little high school football.